Hello, dear Raptor friends, creative heroes. It's so good to see you here again. Today I have a little update on the Raptor plugin for Blender that I would like to show you. It's a little one, but I thought it would be great to catch up and maybe talk a little bit and maybe you can see what's going on here. So here in front of me, let's dive into Blender, of course. You came for that. And here we can see the scene of mine. I wrote a little script that generates these cubes, and basically it creates a structure for the Raptor generator to recognize, first with the attributes and the traits in them. So you can see we have 20 rows here of cubes. That's kind of 20 of the attributes, and in each attribute we have 5 traits. So this basically gives us, if we scroll all the way down through all the attributes, as you can see here, this gives us a huge number of combinations. So you can see that now I just did the analysis, and basically the Blender, and yeah, there's no problem with that. So we have quite a nice number here. And this was just a procrastination sort of part. There's nothing special about it. So I have the Raptor Max over here. It's the one that supports animation. So here we can see that I have a little animation that has 4 frames. So basically what I'm gonna do here is to set the animation length to 4 frames. And the most important part, of course, we don't want to generate this crazy number here. And as you can see, there's also the limitation of the computation and the numbers that are represented in the computers as integers. That's how it's called. And so this is a maximum number that you can kind of generate, but that's like more than, I don't know, 200 millions. Hopefully no one of you will do something like that. If you do, just write me in the comments. I'd like to see someone that crazy. So let's say we're gonna, let's go for 10K. I think that's something that people usually would like to do. This is, again, not really important, but I just would like to show the current state of the Raptor, so you would see how it looks. The rarities here works in a ratio. So that means that if I have number 1 here, it's all having an equal rarity. Of course, in reality, where you would be generating your combinations and your collections, you would sort of aim to use the rarity sum to be 100. And so here you would play with the rarity from 1 to 100. But of course, you would like to have all those in each of the attribute to be equal to 100. That's why here we have that sum. So you can see that as I adjust the number, it sort of adds to the sum for each attribute. But now all the traits in each attribute have the same, basically, rarity. So it's all equal. That's just a little note on rarities. And of course, we have the estimated number, but that's something that is not important now. So whenever you add attributes or do any change in the traits, we always need to do the analysis of the scene. And now you can see that it all got resetted. So let's go for 10K again. And the animation frames, that's what we already got. The seed gives you the order of the combination, meaning that whenever you use the same number, you will always get the same set of combinations. If I change it to number 2, now I will get a different sequence based on the traits and the attributes. Does it make sense? Yeah, meaning that you would get a different set of combinations in different order, and also different traits would be sort of pulled out, right, from the ones that you added. So now it kind of makes sense, hopefully. And I'm so sorry it took so long to get here, but I just wanted to get through this so you would also see how you would normally approach when you would generate something. So the important part that is and got updated here is the part with metadata. The name of NFTs that's remain the same. The description is something that also remain the same. So we're gonna do rotating cubes. But what is new here today is add image field, this checkbox here. So I'm just gonna check it. All right, that's very important for now. And so at this point, you would just end, not be finished, but that's the main parts of the configurations that you would need to do. And now we just can hit generate, but here in Windows, you can also toggle the system console that I always recommend to sort of do. If I zoom in, you can see that we did some sort of the analysis here. And now if I hit the generate, I can now see, hopefully here, that this whole thingy is now getting running, and each 100 is now displayed here that it got already generated. So now we're just gonna let it work, and I will just have a little talk with you while it's generating. So as I promised from the last video where we talked a lot on the current state of the channel, I am now in slow process, in improving the little parts of the Raptor. The things that I released, the free version with basically full capabilities of what the other versions of the Raptor and the paid versions are now having. And so I think you are capable of producing a real collection with the free one. But that also means that I need to and I want to improve the other versions. So this is something that comes with the paid versions, and this add image field so far. And then I'm also thinking about adding a custom sort of metadata field that you can add it by yourself with any name. So I think that can be also kind of useful for people who want to add anything, because sometimes you need different information there. And that hopefully also makes sense. And so that's something that will come later after this. And then I'm also thinking about it was once requested by a great someone in the past. And basically, I take it as a challenge. So now the Raptor knows how to randomize, or not randomize, but use materials as a trait. And that means that you can have one single trait object, let's say a helmet, and then you can basically add different materials to it. And that would still come as a trait. So then you can add different rarities to it. And so every time you do the generation, that helmet would get different material based on the ones that you actually add in Blender. And that's what we have now, and it's working. But what is actually interesting, or would be interesting, is to have a texture on your trait object, which would be then randomly positioned on the object. And so by this way, you would basically get infinite, or can have infinite numbers of the way that your trait object looks. And so this would gives you another sort of way to differentiate different combinations. So to get to, take the example of the helmet, you would just add one texture, and then you would somehow tell the Raptor that this is the texture that you want to randomize, and then in each combination that you would generate, it would position the texture on that mesh object at the different positions. And so by doing this, you would get basically a very unique look of each combination. So that's something that will take some time to implement, but I think there were people kind of wanting it there was one person, maybe you are watching it right now, who was making some 3D models of guns, probably as game assets. I think that's also where the NFTs are now sort of going to, the assets in different games and different applications, not as art form anymore. And so he showed me this, it was AK-47, I think CSGO or something, where there was a very, I mean, each of the AK-47 got different texture on it, and based on the way it looked, it was also priced differently on the market. And so that was basically what we talked about, right? There was one texture, and then basically in each of the generation they did, it was always somewhere else. And so there were, I mean, even though it all had a same texture, there were parts of the texture that kind of look cool or look cooler, and therefore it was pricier. And so this can be definitely applied to NFTs as well, or the things that we are trying to approach here. So we are about to end. Sorry for the ramble. I just like talking to you guys about this stuff. And so you can see that we did 10K, 4 frames, and yeah, it actually takes some time. It does for sure. So we'll see. Okay, so oh yeah, it was only 5 minutes actually. Yeah, so it's important, guys, that you have the console open. It unfortunately is openable this way easily only on Windows. On the Mac, you don't have this option. You need to start the Blender in a special way to have the console. So I found that a little unfortunate for the Mac users. But okay, so yeah, we did 10K in 5 minutes. I think that's reasonable. Of course, if you had more complicated scene, maybe it will take longer, or maybe a lower PC. Okay, so let's go into the metadata. I would like to point out that the metadata folder gets created next to the Blender file. That's what also the guys on Discord commented on, that I need to stress that more. So here it is. So let's open metadata. It's how big it is. Okay, it's 65 megabyte of metadata. So that's yeah, we have 10K of JSON files here. It's funny. And so let's open the number one. Why not? Okay, so here we can see that I give it a name with the cubes, and then we had this beautiful description, and that checkbox with the add image field just added this one here, this line here. For some reason, this was, I mean, I know the reasons, but this was requested like far in the past, and I'm so sorry that I just recently added. I mean, okay, so here you can see the value of the trait that got picked in this combination. What is actually also in the free version is, if you scroll all the way down, there is basically the all metadata JSON file, where it's all condensed into one, all those JSON files, I mean. And we also have the internal data. That's not something that you actually need to have a look on, but there's a trait count and trait rarity, so that's what I'm interested in actually. All right, so here you can see that for each of the attributes, you can see basically how many of the traits are represented in the collection. So here you can see that even though we gave it same ratio of the rarity, it varies, because that's just the nature of the randomization. So with the max and with the pro, you can't really get those numbers exact to be like exactly how you want. With the ultra version, it's possible with a different generator that is called Deep. Okay, so that's this, and also we have the trait rarities. And so even though we saw different numbers in terms of the counts, here you can see that the rarity is kind of sort of similar. It's really all around 20-ish. And yeah, it's just really really small differences. So here you can see that the rarities works. Yeah, even though, as I pointed out, we didn't set 20, but it all had the same number. So the ratio basically was the same. So in fact, this can be interesting for someone who is really diving deep into this and want to be really nerdy. Of course, let's say that you would like to achieve, let's say, a rarity of this trade 20 to be less than 1%, okay? So here in the Raptor Max and Raptor Pro, you can't really set this rarity to be below 1, okay? That's just a little limitation. So in Ultra, it's possible. So you should definitely get the Ultra. Okay, so the way you can achieve to have the rarity less than 1% now with this version, until I change it, is by having the rarity sum to be, let's say, 1000, right? So that means that this number 1 here then would be 0.1. Yeah, in a way, if you agree with yourself that you will set the rarity sum to be 1000, right? And yeah, so this is just something that I found funny that I haven't told anyone. Okay, so yeah, if you actually uncheck the image field, this line here won't be there. What a huge update. But to be honest, I just missed talking to you guys. All right, then yeah, hopefully. Okay, so this one thing, the last thing that I would like to say is the fact that I'm so grateful for the community around this channel here. I can't be even more happy how awesome people are. I mean, there's not like thousands of you, but I would like to thank you all who is supporting the channel, who is actually responding to questions on a Discord channel of ours. I am also just always surprised by the kindness of the people here. So thank you so much, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.